So Ms. Time has expired. The chair recognizes the gentlelady from Oregon, Ms. Dexter, for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and to the Secretary. It has been a long day, so I appreciate it. Our national parks, as we've talked about, are not just iconic landscapes, they're pillars of our local economies. In Oregon's Crater Lake National Park, it attracts over 500,000 visitors every year and drives more than 55 million in economic activity for a part of our state that has very modest economic activity. 98% of that is from out-of-town visitors. So first question, do you agree that national parks play a vital role in sustaining regional economies and supporting gateway communities?
Yeah, absolutely, I do. And if we manage them even better, we can do even better for those gateway communities.
I totally agree with you, and that's the segue to the next part of the question. Is recently the superintendent of Crater Lake resigned, citing staffing cuts so severe that he feared for the future of the park. And right now they're down to 3 park rangers when they normally would have 8. And these are on the ground in the field personnel. So that shortfall means that they may not be able to run core programs for the families who are coming to experience one of our nature's most treasured places. So when our parks lose staff like this, we're not just cutting jobs, we're impacting the experience and the economy and the visitation for our local communities. So last week on June 4th, I sent a letter requesting a briefing on Crater Lake and how you plan to address these cuts and protect the future of the park, especially now that it's without a superintendent. I haven't received a response yet, so I just wanted to ask today, since we have you here, will you commit to a briefing for myself and my colleagues on Crater Lake and the plans to get that park in shape for the visitation that's already starting?
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate the way you've asked that question. I do want to say just in 1 second, we have other parks who have more staffing this summer than they had last summer. So the idea that this is an across-the-board disaster, I mean, places where we've had great leadership, where people have dug in, they've got all their summer staff hired, they've responded to all this, they've gotten creative with volunteer groups.
Yeah.
It's happening, and so we'll work on a plan with Crater Lake because the parks are open. We believe we have enough people to support all the programs we had last year, this year.
I appreciate that. I know that it's also been reported, though it's not universally true, because Seguro National Park has closed its visitor center. Yosemite is delaying reservations at 5 of its major campgrounds. So there are clear issues across the country. So we will reach out to you to get a date, hopefully in the next few weeks, for that briefing. And in a recent Senate hearing, you had testified that the goal is to have more people working in the parks. Is that still accurate?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when it took me almost 8 weeks to try to put together the data to understand of the over 26,000 full and part-time people that worked in the Park Service, how many of them actually worked in a park? The best answer we have is it might only be slightly over 50%. So all the concern about staffing and programming and rangers, I think we can solve all of that, put more people on the ground doing the work, interfacing with the public, and then reduce the overhead that we have in finance, budgeting, IT, HR, all of these things.
I do appreciate that. And forgive me for jumping in just because I'm watching that clock. I do understand that. The total numbers, though, as I know you understand, aren't necessarily reflective of the needs. You know, a plow operator in a place that gets 36 feet of snow every year can't be replaced by a wildlife biologist or somebody else. So I just want to make sure that, we have the right staff, and I know my colleagues have pointed to that too. So I think that we also have been told that there's a hiring freeze. 1 permanent employee can be hired for every 4 that leaves if we are short on those employees who are really needed in the field on the ground for those experiences. I wonder if we can count on you to send a memo to superintendents clarifying that they're missing staff that are directly engaged with the public in these parks, that they can hire them immediately.
Well, what you said, it was an administration-wide, but we have exemptions for wildland firefighters, law enforcement, which includes, badged rangers, and also summer staff. So there is no hiring freeze on those positions, and we'll make sure that every park understands if those are the areas that they have shortage, that they can be out hiring.
So just to clarify, if there are shortages in personnel that will directly impact the park's experience, there's hotels and maintenance and all that. I know there's other folks who are responsible for that, but so I probably should have used a different example there. But for on-the-ground experience for our visitors, that if they have a shortage, that you will clarify that they can rehire those immediately.
We'll clarify that they can come up with a solution, because they keep using the example of who's going to empty the garbage, and in some cases, we've got private contractors and gateway communities that would love to have that contract versus us having a federal employee empty garbage or a summer hire emptying garbage.
Yeah, my understanding is that they are overworked. I spoke to the superintendent, and he was saying that some of their employees who are federal employees were working as many as 60 hours of overtime in a 2-week period to make up for the short staffing. So I think that you and I can agree that that is not a safe nor sustainable situation.
And if they've got open positions for summer hiring, then I hope they're also spending time focusing on getting those positions filled.
Yeah, as you know, it's hard to hire on short timeline, and so unfortunately, a lot of those staff were to have been started a month ago, and they're still trying to fill those positions. So they're under a lot of stress right now.
Gentlelady Tom has
Thank you,
way
Mr.
expired.
Thank you for your patience.
Was interesting dialogue. I think they would probably really like no tax on overtime, though.